Hi and welcome to day 1 of week 7 of training cycle 2 of 2021. Today was a very bad workout, but I learned a lot of things and I know how I'm going to fix a lot of these issues. Now, the past multiple weeks, the main really issue that I've been fighting is the sheer amount of weight increase all the time, right? Everything is increasing so fast. Squat has increased 2.5 kilos every single week. It's increased at a rate that obviously it's unsustainable in the long term, but in the short term it's possible if you really dig deep and put your back into it and build your lifestyle around it. The only issue is with school and everything, I've had like entire weeks where I've averaged under 6 hours of sleep as a developing teenager, getting very bad grades on multiple tests, failing things, having to work even harder. So, and it's the same with the training. At this point, I am oftentimes trying to work even harder to counteract my failure. By the way, look at that. I was really close to getting stapled, crushed, and getting a serious injury today as well. So, the way I'm going to adjust for all of these issues that I'm having is not by giving up training or anything silly like that. I'm going to adjust the program, and it's going to be a pretty major adjustment. It isn't really an adjustment. It's the same base structure, but pretty much all the supplemental lifts need to go, except the ones that are completely necessary. So, today I did basically like half a workout. Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go as minimalistic as possible, as little volume as possible. It's going to be basically a single on the squat. It's going to be a single on a pressing movement. It's going to be a single on a deadlift. And then it's going to be the rows and the chin-ups. That's what I'm going to do. And for the grip, I'm going to probably just hang onto the chin-up bar for as long as I can after doing the set of 15. So I hang a couple seconds extra, and as well as holding the bar a little longer on my deadlifts. So that's how I'll hit the grip. As for the hamstrings and the lower back, that's a little bit of a tricky one. I do believe that now I've made some investments in my glutes and in my lower back, in my hamstrings, the past couple of weeks. So hopefully, by the way, my row form wasn't very good today, but if I can really focus on the form and really put a lot of effort into staying tight, like making that the main part of the rowing, and really putting a lot of effort and difficulty into the rows, not just pumping through the reps like I did today, but actually really focus on truly contracting that lower back and really working it and working the hamstrings and just feeling that fatigue and just keeping tight through the fatigue. If I can do that, then I can probably do this volume cut and hopefully still make progress. The main thing here is, though, to not get into a downward trend, because I really can't afford that. Realistically, I need continual upward trends for my goals to even be, achievable for this year. So, cheating here, still nowhere near to moving 67.5. Most likely we'll have to actually reduce this because I cannot do this. Way too heavy. So it's disappointing, and I obviously don't like to fail things, but at this point it's a failure. However, I have made progress this training cycle. I've just beat my lifetime squat record. Before this training cycle, my best was 120. Now I can do 127.5. My best bench before this training cycle was 90. Now I can do 97.5. My best overhead press was 60. Now I can do 65. My best, deadlift was 150. Now I can do 155. So I did make progress on this training cycle before I hit this I wouldn't even call it a plateau because it's not like I plateaued on everything. It's just a case of I don't think I can continue to maintain the level of training that I need to continue to make kind of progress. So I need to change outside variables, and I believe that will be diet and sleep. Now that my workouts will be shorter, maybe that will affect my motivation positively. The fact that it isn't like a gigantic monumental task, like a really big part of my free time. Now, pretty much all of it has been these massive evening workouts. And with the adjustments that I plan to make, hopefully, I can give myself free time. But not only that, I can give myself time to eat an evening meal. And that adds a couple hundred calories into the mix. And I say couple hundred because when you start eating more, by the way, that deadlift, fuck that deadlift, that was terrible, man. The speed was good, but it was just backbending and hitching. I'm embarrassed right now. The squat was just a giant potato taco bullshit flop squat. The overhead press was just bullshit. Everything was bullshit today. Just weak, and like I didn't feel that weak, but just looking at the performances, like I probably haven't even gotten weaker. I'm just the same. I just haven't made any progress. Know what I mean? Pretty much the last week. But like I said, guys, isn't sustainable to sleep like 6 hours and just try to plow through these mega workouts and not quite eat enough, starting to lose weight now. So we're gonna make the adjustments that we need, and it's not like school continues forever. There aren't many weeks left until I finish school. I can't remember how many, but it will be the biggest, like the main part of what the training cycle that's left will still be during the school. So I do believe that I need these adjustments. Like, they aren't essential, but I really don't want to try to study for big tests while being like on 5 and 6 hours of sleep, and then you start studying more, so now you're on like 4 or 3 hours of sleep, just completely destroyed constantly. Every single hormone that makes you happy gets diminished and decreased. Every single hormone that like increases anything that makes you feel good decreases. Like, you just feel like shit and you're weak. And for what? I probably, realistically, I should make less progress with a lower volume approach, but at the very least, I don't have to go through the absolute hell that it would be to continue what I was doing, up until pretty much today. Today, I'm actually going to do less volume than I did today even. I'm just going to do heavy squat, heavy press, heavy deadlift, rows, chin-ups, right? And then, if necessary, I'll add the good mornings back in, because they take 10 minutes, and they hit a lot of them they actually fill a lot of the gaps that I have. So actually I may consider that specific exercise, but I want to keep it very minimalistic, because even the stuff that you guys don't see, I have these stretching goals I have to hit every night as well. So I have to stretch to a certain point, get very close to the floor. I even measure it with a ruler, right? And we're starting to get into where now the hip, I wouldn't call it the bone structure, because it isn't bone on bone. Otherwise, it would be completely immobilized, but it isn't. But now we're starting to get to the point to where we've got a really massive stretch in the ligaments, in the tendons. Stretching is becoming very, very difficult, and becoming a really difficult chore now. It isn't just a thing I do, it's like a thing I dread. So we got that, and then we got the jump rope, which is now at above 14 minutes, which also that is way above what I have been doing in the previous training cycle. So it's a bit too much, or it's actually a lot too much to be sustainable. Right, I've done this for several weeks, this mega volume approach, but now I'm going to decrease it. Hopefully I'll feel better. I do think that I will feel better, but I need to up the calories or else this is not going to work. I'm going to lose muscle.